Okay. I thought I would go ahead and do just like a general reading. See what happens, right? The current or present energy is the Knight of Wands. So you're creating, going with your gut. When you think of something, you are like, you know what? Weighing the options. That's what a creator does. They weigh options and they think about, okay, well, if this should work, then this is how I would get it to happen. If I do this, then this should be the outcome. Which helps you stay motivated too. Because the time and energy that you're devoting to your creations are coming to fruition, right? That's what brings enthusiasm, is like seeing the fruits of your labor. And that's the present position, so that's good. And using your gut, focused on a new dynamic, a balance, something that you can spend your energy on, and it is a reliable give and take. So it's like I'm putting energy out and I'm receiving something in return, whether it's money, whether it's notoriety, whether it's a connection to deepen the creativity. It could be anything, But you're getting something back, so it's showing. It is showing up, like your work is speaking for itself. So like if you're working out, like now you're seeing results. You went with your gut and said, you know what, it's time to change my life in some type of way. Even though this says career driven, I mean, it's driven to do something, to create something. But it's for this reading. And one of my 13 interpretations would be that this is a career driven reading. And this person is focused on creation and going forward quickly. Yeah. Being a competitor. So then the influence on this is money. That's what's influencing it right now. Your investments. It's going to take some work. You know that, though. That's the whole point in you getting that oomph, that push, that nudge, that intuitive edge, going with it. But you know that this plan is not about to be tonight. It's not, it's a plan. So it's not tomorrow. It's not tonight. It's going to take some time and some work. You know it's going to take time and work. But again, the present position is that you are seeing results. So you made a plan to do things, step by step. That's what a plan is. It's like you step by step, and you're seeing at, you know, each step, at some point in the steps, you're seeing results. So you're seeing your plan effectively take hold. It's tangible now. It's actually happening. Even though there's a limited amount of funds. But that's you knew that, hello. You're going off inspiration and enthusiasm and creativity. And of course, with those beautiful attributes, there's hope. And there's faith that, you know, I have this much, but if I do this right, if I work this right, if I invest this in the correct places, it'll turn into this much. And if I take that and a piece of this and I add it to that and string a little along here, it'll turn into this much, and this much, then this much. So it's not stopping you. There was uncertainty at the beginning because, I mean, who, when they make a plan, is like, this is gonna work. Like, that's where hope comes in and faith comes in. That's where you're focused on the plan and like, okay, well, this and this and this and this. If this and that, then this and this. If this happens, then this happens. That's gotta happen. You know, you see. Investing a lot of time and energy. But you know what? And it could feel like, you know, this is never going to work. This is getting on my nerves. How come this isn't working out? Da, 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 da. Because when you're in the thick of it, when you're really in it, it's hard to see. Because you're so focused on the plan. You're so focused on the direction. You're so focused on keeping it together. There's so many elements all at once. You gotta know multitask. Multitask is now your new first, middle, and last name. For sure. But you're investing the time and energy in you. And that is a safe, honest, true bet. Yeah. That's the best bet. For sure. For sure. Now that was the Seven of Pentacles. I didn't mention that. That was the Seven of Pentacles. But like I said, you're going to see progress. Yeah. The Page of Pentacles is the third position. That's good news about your career. Yeah. And this is supposed to be the destiny. Well, that's a logic. To me, I don't know if it's destiny. A logical outcome is a good idea. But, you know, of course, that's going to be at the top of this because of the fact that you put the work in. You were diligent. You were focused. You attacked the situation with enthusiasm and creativity. But you had patience. You didn't just, you know, there's patience here. Business savvy, really. You know, to really be business savvy, you must know that things don't happen overnight. When you're doing business with banks, when you're doing business with insurance companies, when you're doing business in real business, you know damn well it's never going to be no next week. Because those companies, those type of institutions, they have process. And they will never go outside of their process. I mean, you got to be really wealthy to ask a company to really go outside of their process for you. Like, you have to be one of their big ballers. Like, you know, you at a bank, you must have several accounts with them, and they're full, like lots of money in them for you to be able to call up and make things move like within a day, you know. Otherwise, for people with this, you know, like literal paper, like you got paper, and I mean about as thick as paper. That's a due process. That's a process where you have to, you know, put that in your schedule. Like, check your emails, and like you're not calling no shots. You in line with the rest of the people. So there's patience there, you know, there's a business savvy mindset, you know, but highly motivated, understanding that this is an investment and it takes time to grow. And because of that, there's good news. There's double earth right there, you know, a balance here. Yeah. It's a yes, Doc. Yes, Doc. No, for real. That's what's up. Putting in the work. There's happiness in the future. No, it's the past. My bad. There was happiness there too. Celebration, support. That's good. There was a balance there as well in your past. So you always been like this. Like, this is just a new adventure. Like, not even an adventure, it's a new venture. So it's not an adventure. This is something that you do. This is something you do. You are a doer, and business is your thing. You found something that if you take time with it and are patient, it will pay off. And you know this. So you're dedicating that same energy and effort that you always did, that same passion that you always have. That's what's up. The quitter don't quit on themselves. Wait, a winner don't quit on themselves. Where you get that from, right? Winner don't quit on themselves. Yeah. Not giving up. Whatever didn't work in the past was just a new skill. Something else that you tucked under your belt, like, all right, well, as soon as I get this paper up, I know how to do this other stuff. And if I feel like falling off into that, I will. If I don't feel like falling off into that, I won't. Like, you just have so many skills that you've picked up by being enthusiastic and wanting to learn, and, you know, really devoting yourself to whatever you were doing. Having a youthful eye of, I'm here. Life is to be learned. And I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to understand. I'm willing to be taught. And also being a creator at the same time. So when you learn something new, you're like, oh, you know what would work for me? You know what? which is a real creator vibe. That's a real creative vibe right there. This venture is going to allow you to express yourself. And that also is one of your things, because there's air here. Passion and air. Passionate words. So it's giving you the opportunity to express yourself. Huh. You finally found the arena that will allow you to do that. That's awesome. You understanding more about yourself brought you here. Yeah. It brought you to a point where you're like, this is like good. Like, this is what I want. That's good for me. That's what's up. Oh, I keep forgetting. That's the Three of Cups in the past. I can't imagine. I've experienced that myself in the recent past, where things didn't go the way I wanted them to go. So I kind of felt down about it. Like, what am I missing? But it's not really me missing anything. It was, how do you feel about the current situation, and how do you turn it into your favor? Some people may have felt rejected. Like, there was victories and happiness in the past, but I bet you that the successes weren't as consistent. That may be where the rejection feeling was coming from. Like, I'm working and I'm only seeing this much of movement, when you're feeling like you should be feeling this much of movement. Like, I should be feeling a little bit more of I don't know. The energy moving forward. Like, it's like I'm pushing really, really hard, but I'm not like pushing it. Like, it's not going anywhere. Like, If it's moving only this much. And that could feel like you're being rejected because of the fact that, like, you feel like, why in the fuck is this not working? Or why isn't, when I'm tweaking things, when I'm trying to get this to move, it's not working. What is the deal? What is happening? That feeling of like, what the fuck? Discontented with the outcome. It's frustrating. I get it. Like, it is frustrating. It can feel like, rejection. It can feel like you're making a mistake. Like, am I doing it wrong? Like, what is happening? Like, I don't know. It can cause an imbalance. Because then you start thinking down. Like, maybe this isn't right. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe. But it was the consistency that was the issue. Like, being inconsistent, obviously, is going to give you inconsistent results. Having discipline to, like, continue, it helps to get, like, it moving, instead of pushing it just a little bit and then giving up and then coming back and pushing it a little bit. It's like, give it all you got and keep giving it all you got. Like, don't hang it up. Don't slow down. Don't become inconsistent. The inconsistency comes from the what if maybes and what if doubt, basically. Now, seeing the results, you cannot doubt, because when you see results, you cannot doubt. You know it. It's true. You can see the results. Like, what you planned is working. Where you're going it actually exists. Maybe I'm babbling. Maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. What's happening in the future? Oh, shit. That's in the past. The rejection, the inconsistency, whatever. That's in the past. And what's in the future? What's in the future? Right? What's in the future? What could possibly be in the future of a person who decides to bet on themselves and move forward with their skills and be consistent to get results? Obvious reply, right? A new beginning. I mean, it's a tender new beginning, obviously, because of the past disappointments. So, of course, you want to be patient with yourself and gentle with yourself, and know that, it's a tender new beginning. That you might be a little shocked, But once you get started, it's going to unlock your spirit of adventure. And like I said, like, one thing leads to another thing that leads to another thing, and you're able to express yourself in any way you desire. And be the person that you are. And really no one can stop you. That's the future. Some type of communication. Walking right off the ledge and don't even give a fuck. Walking straight off the side of a cliff and like, fuck it. Yeah, I'm betting on myself. Guess you betting you got wings, huh? That's what's up. I pulled card. Oh, yeah, I showed the fool. What's this? The questioner. I should stop here. I think I am gonna stop right here. So this reflects the person that is going through this. Someone who needed to learn balance and their support is themselves and having a balance in the duality, having a balance in the self and the higher self, I guess. Believe in the self and, the willpower to do. Once that happened, then there's balance. They figured it out. Ding, 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 dong. So now there's a balance of the duality. It's not an imbalance. It's not doubt. It's not leaning on others and feeling rejected, maybe. This is more like I have had it the entire time. Like, I was stifling myself by questioning myself, or I was stifling myself by listening to other people and, expecting their support, when in reality I didn't need their support. I needed my own support. I needed to keep things to myself and think things through for myself instead of, doubting myself and then running away from it, or, not giving it as much energy that it's not giving it the energy that it deserves in order to change it. The repetition. Keep doing it until it's successful. Like, you do it and do it and do it and do it and do it. but there's a passion there. Enthusiasm, same thing, but once that person focuses their enthusiasm, there's a successful outcome. The duality is disciplined, it's balanced. It's like the magician. I bet that's the same thing. Yeah. Oh. Oh, that's sweet. No. You gotta be shining a light on something. Your success, I mean, it can be read one way that was really sweet, but I feel like when you struck out on your own, learned your lessons, stood back up, and followed your like intuitive nudge, it showed a lot of people from the past who you truly are. Yeah. When you figured out how to balance everything, it showed a lot of people in the past, like, you thought this person couldn't discipline themselves long enough to really figure it out, but they did. You didn't believe much in them, but again, they have everything inside. They already have belief. They just needed to keep consistent and be disciplined. So it's like both parties are learning that they weren't really needed. Like, this person is realizing that, they just needed to believe more in themselves and be consistent. They didn't really need the, support of anybody else. And they're realizing it too. Like, this person didn't really need us to support them. As they reflect over, because your success is here, basically, because this is presently going on and influenced by, the rejections and that. So basically, it's here already. You just stay consistent, and that's it. Like I said, your goal is already, it exists, right? And they're realizing that. They're reviewing the memories of all of the things that you went through and realizing that, like, you're finally at the success. You finally figured out how to balance it all, how to make it all make sense. You probably did a lot of different stuff. You probably did a lot of different stuff. And they probably really was like, this is not making an iota of sense, because they couldn't see the outcome. They couldn't see your dream. But it's your dream. Like, I'll never be able to see your dreams, you know? Think about it. When you dreaming, ain't that just you? Like, you can dream up me being there, but I'm not really there. Like, you're the only one in your dreams, right? They didn't believe in it because they didn't see where it was going. But that's your journey. That's your journey, not everybody else's. They don't have to see your dream. Again, they don't have to see your goal. It don't even matter. Like, even if you didn't know, it doesn't matter. Like, as long as you know, obviously it was not just enthusiasm and patience and planning that was needed. The lesson learned here was to balance. That was the lesson learned. Because you was able to do everything else. It was the balancing, the consistency, the discipline that was the problem. And that, again, is where you lost everybody else. Because they were just like, they ain't gonna never. You know how it is. I wanted to see this as like, oh, these people in your past, they really support you, this and that. But I feel like this was, you just doing you. And them getting bits and pieces of what's happening. And what you're working on now. Like, not really talking to you to figure out, how did you even arrive at that? How did you get to that? Like, how did you go from to this? Like, they didn't understand your thought process, but you did. Because you understood that I actually think this is pretty cool and I can make money off of this. What do you mean? Like, I'm going to look into this and I'm going to invest some time and energy and effort learning something about this and trying to get it off the ground. It just didn't work because of the lack of funds. But you cannot take wisdom or knowledge from people. So once you learn something, you cannot unlearn some shit. Like, you can forget some shit, right? But you didn't forget everything. It's only a matter of time where you're just going to be like, oh, let me go back to, I still got that book from, let me look up. Oh, I remember I remember. And they were actually pretty passionate about everything as well. They were pretty passionate about how they felt about what you were doing. I don't know why. Everybody's so nosy nowadays. Like, it's like, how do you have extra hours and minutes in the day? I don't give a damn if it's a minute. Like, how do you have extra hours, minutes, moments, thoughts in the day to think something negative and then turn around and go talk about that person? Because they call somebody to say something. Like, that's how gossiping works. Like, text messages, group chats, phone calls, WhatsApps, whatever. Like, for real. They were talking about you. Yeah. This was your inner emotions. Yeah. That was your inner emotions. And I imagine so. When you're working hard on something and you putting in all this effort and energy and time, and money is the only thing standing in your way, like, of course you feel bound. Of course you feel stuck. Like, no doubt about it. I feel like now, though, hmm, you're on the outside of that. You're not, you were in your head, but you're not anymore. Yeah. I mean, like I said, who wouldn't be, right? Who wouldn't be feeling like stuck? Like, trying shit and it don't work. What the fuck? Not paying attention to the fact that you're just not being consistent. Inconsistency. Inconsistent. I made up a word. I feel like. Anyway, let me move forward. Your inner emotions, though, that's tough. That looks terrible. Like, binding yourself in your head, feeling like you really don't have the intelligence to move forward, like you really don't have the voice to move forward. Powerless is a very, very good word. But that's why this change is so, this balance is so enlightening. It's so major. Like, that's major. That's why it's major. Like, for real. Because the what was learned is like massive. It's a change. It's a massive change. No more victim mentality. No more constraints. No more constriction. No more confinements. No more The Eight of Swords was the card. Eight of Swords. No more of that. But that's good because now that it's finally over, obviously the outcome is the Fool. You moving forward. Everything is good, good. Wait a minute. Oh, wow. This can only be the people that are around you or near you or know of you or know this could only be, it's either one, you're like, you know, you're obviously getting away from the norm of your normal, undisciplined, inconsistent self. But also it's like, that's not a betrayal. That's not a betrayal unless it's somebody else in the picture that feels betrayed. Like, I don't know what other way to put it. And why would you, doing something so massively positive for yourself, like learning how to balance your emotions, learning how to discipline yourself overall, period, why would that be considered a deception? How is that deceiving someone when that's so utterly positive and guided and required and the epitome of maturity? Like, that's what that is. It's like you fix something about yourself that not very many people want to do or actually complete doing. Yeah, I feel like the word disregard is really a word to the wise. Like, word to the wise. Disregard what people say. Because you're not telling anybody anything anyway. So the negative things that they may have to say or the way that they feel, because they may start feeling outcast because you're not telling them anything. So they may have negative things to say, which, I mean, they probably won't even tell you. They wasn't telling you that they didn't believe in you, so they probably won't even tell you the negative things or confront you or anything like that, for real. It'll be some sneaky emotional words said behind your back, you know, at functions that you are not invited to, type of thing, you know. Phone calls you're not included, group chats you're not included in, all that. But you know what? You weathered it by yourself. Air high five. You weathered it all by yourself. And now you see success and growth, which is great. This is a good one. This is good. I wonder, what the angels want to say about it. What we got going on here? That could at least cover the back of my throat. Oh shit. Don't judge me for that, child. What's this? Queen of Swords in reverse. What's that? The Fool again. Queen of Pentacles again. My interpretation of it, the Queen of Swords in reverse, it's not, people aren't saying what they actually know, obviously. If you're not speaking, you're not giving them anything to talk about. They don't really know what to talk about. So really all they're talking about is, you know, stuff from the past. That's all they really have, is to talk about things from the past. Because they love money and you didn't have it at the time in the past. They're about money. They're about clout and status and all of that, clothes and jewelry and cars and stuff, and to them that showed, you know, your value. You had a different value. Your value was in your skill building, your ability to learn and apply concepts, and not only apply concepts, but think of new things and be creative with that very same concept. You can see things differently. It's not all about money. I mean, obviously it's about money. Everybody's doing things for money, obviously. Like, you don't learn skills to not be paid, but they were basing your success only on that. Like, and because you didn't have that, they were talking about you, you know. But that's okay, because that's in the past. You got the Fool, you moved on, you know. You took that inspiration that you felt and went with it. And then it's a death to being broke. Now, let me read what it says for these. Give you the actual meaning. That was just my interpretation of it. And this is card number 44. The Queen of Swords reversed. The eternal God. Yalahia places in our subconscious a martial, energetic, and courageous talent capable of arming and instructing us on how to direct our desires and passions. We can thus not only achieve global victory inspired by high intentions, but also resolve conflicts and paradigms that we carry as a burden and burden from our past. Conversely, injustices and abuses will accumulate in us as we proceed on our path without ever complete fulfillment. Ooh, that is so nasty. That was the thought process, is that you wouldn't ever move forward past just the skill building stage without ever complete fulfillment. Ooh. But that's no longer true. That's why it's in reverse. How to direct our desires. So that's that intuitive nudge I was saying that you went with. You got the intuitive nudge and just went with it, which that's what you're supposed to do, right? That's exactly what's supposed to happen, right? A global victory. Well, go you. Go you. And that's 44. Then there's number 6. Praiseworthy God. Lela Hell transmits understanding skills to us to illuminate with its light what surrounds us. That's a mouthful already. Transmits understanding skills to us to illuminate with its light what surrounds us. This understanding enables us to develop a consciousness capable of storing helpful information to achieve results in the material world, professions, and scientific and medical fields. Thanks to this store of learned and guarded knowledge, through the light absorbed by this seraph, we will be able to take that crazy step into the seemingly risky void that will make us take flight. Excessive, arrogant haste, pandering to irrational or selfish impulses will inevitably lead us to the fall instead of that last step before we take off. Holy moly. A lot of this is a lot of what I've already said. Having the patience, learning compassion for yourself first. And, I mean, this is, if you got that out of it, I hope that you got that out of everything I've said so far. Learning compassion for yourself, aka balancing your emotions and yourself and having patience. And wow. Basically having love. I love how the dog is not behind her. He's right next to her, supporting that next step. That's what's up. And then 4. Elamia, the unseen God. This seraph deposits divine power within us like a seed, initially hidden and veiled, waiting to grow and bear fruit. First, however, our feelings must revitalize this seed, which will accomplish what we desire on the material plane. The task of this angel is to quiet our sometimes turbulent emotions, calming the disturbances of the soul and uncovering their root cause. Thus we can say the course without fear of adversity. Thus we can stay the course without fear of adversity. This is the overall energy, in my opinion, in my interpretation of it. will accomplish what we desire on the material plane, but we first have to send the energy to it. It seems like revitalizing the seed. But you know, when you plant a seed, you don't just plant it and like walk off and like never come back. Like you gotta be consistent with that as well. Even though like you don't have any control over it, like you still have to come back periodically and check on the seeds, you know. This says it deposits the divine power. You already had it. I was saying that at the beginning of this whole reading, this whole interpretation here, that you already had that divine power. You just needed to learn how to balance it with patience and love and care for yourself. Waiting to grow and bear fruit. That was how it was going to bear fruit, though. Obviously, it could not have bared fruit until you loved yourself and had patience with yourself and became disciplined. Well, that's beautiful. That really is beautiful. Man.